the lads, welcome back to what is already episode 9 of the toonTALK podcast brought to you by Magpie247. Today, I am joined by Marty, who is making his first podcast appearance. How are you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm not good. Sorry, I'm not bad, so should I say I'm doing good. Yeah, plodding on. How's yourself, Ian?
I'm very good as well, thank you.
Good, good.
It could always be better, especially after a result like yesterday's game. But
Yeah, it
we
wasn't. It wasn't the best performance, was it? Like as
no.
anyhow says, it's the worst Newcastle side he's seen play since he's took over. I just don't know what happened. It just didn't seem
Yeah,
playing
I
as a team.
I completely agree. I suggest we actually start off with that game as it will be the freshest in our memory.
Yeah,
And what's happening, everyone? It's Cal from Magpie247, and I hope you're all good. So, the team is out as Newcastle travel to the London Stadium for a big game against West Ham today, and the team is out. Emil Kraft getting his first Premier League start in, I'm not sure how long, but I know it's a while. Um, Other than that, I think that's because Trippier's out of the squad completely. But other than that, I think it's kind of business as normal in terms of what I expected from the starting side. Botman, Chow, obviously as your centre backs. Then Dan Burn playing at left back against Jared Bowen. Bit of a mismatch in terms of what that could be. Um, Obviously, in midfield is Joe Linton, Tonali, and Bruno. Um, I mean, Jacob Ramsey showed a little bit in midweek, so he could be challenging late in the coming games. But obviously, Joe Linton gets the nod today, and then your front three is, as expected, Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon, and Nick Walter-Mard up front. I'm happy with the team. Yes, I think the team is good. I do worry slightly of how our fullbacks are going to go forward and how that's going to look. But I think in terms of this game today, like we've got to learn our lessons from last year because we played against West Ham around this time last year, and we took them for granted and we got beat. That was at home. I know it's at the London Stadium, but like we've won at the London Stadium more recently than West Ham have, and we haven't played there since March. Like I'm not underestimating West Ham. They're just shit, and we've got to be on it the day because these are the type of games where you need 3 points. And yeah, like if we don't pick up a win here, it's a disaster of a result, in my opinion. Like West Ham have been absolutely shocking this season, barring that match away to Nottingham Forest, where it was like Nuno's last game in charge or something. Like other than that, they haven't really done anything this season. So this one needs to be a really convincing win for Newcastle. Like it needs to be 3 points. Like it'll be frustrating if it's not, but yeah, it's a game I do fancy winning. But the players that played in last year, in particular, in terms of the West Ham game at St James's Park, don't take them for granted and just be honest from minute one. We're usually good against teams in the bottom three, um, and yeah, I think this needs to be one where we'll put them to the sword. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy with the team that's lining up. Hopefully, we can get to see Lewis Hall as well. He's back on the bench, but yeah, need to get in amongst these and get the 3 points today.
So, team news is in. Emil Kraft, he makes his return to the starting 11 for the first time in the Premier League for what the best part of 2 years. It was Luton Town away, way back when that he last started in the Premier League. Kieran Trippier misses out today through an illness. He's obviously got the bit of a leg off Sandro Tonali, so he misses out. He drops out totally. Lewis Hall back on the bench. That's a welcome sight and a welcome relief. But Emil Kraft, he starts in the team. Eddie Howe obviously made changes midweek against Spurs, but he reverts back to his tried and trusted in the Premier League. And yeah, feeling confident, happy with that. Yes, we're up against Callum Wilson. And we all know what normally happens when you go up against your former players, the player blinder. Yeah, they come back to haunt you. Hopefully that isn't the case, and Botman has him in his back pocket for all of the game. To me, West Ham are a team they're sort of devoid of confidence in many ways. They've got some really good, more than capable players. Clearly, the London Stadium is a bit of a toxic environment as well at the moment, and that is playing its part in their poor form. But look, we've got to do what we've got to do. We've got to play well. We've got to push. We've got to probe. We've got to create chances. We can't leave Altamada exposed and isolated up on the top. Our corners, our set pieces have to be on point because that is a weakness of theirs that we need to take full advantage of today. We can't be distracted by the circus going on in the stands, the poor atmosphere because of the way the stadium is and all that sort of thing. We've just got to go there, do a professional job, get the points, and continue our fine form on, and hopefully jump up a few places in the very early still Premier League table. So yeah, feeling confident. I went 2-0 for my analysis prediction, but really it should be a 3-0 type job today, shouldn't it, at least? But I'm looking for us to score a few goals. I think we should be keeping a clean sheet. Chow and Botman should have more than enough to keep out their attackers. And then we'll see where it goes. But fingers crossed, feeling confident beforehand. But I've been here before in these types of games. But yeah, fingers crossed, we're doing the business. And I'll be back at half time.
Yeah.
For the people who didn't see it, we lost 3-1 against a really massively struggling West Ham side. For us, Jacob Murphy got the goal all the way in the 4th minute, but then Lucas Paqueta equalized, and Sven Botman own goal saw us go into the break already behind. Eddie Howe made 3 substitutions in the during the break, but we would go on to lose the game 3-1. A massively disappointing performance. What were your general feelings before the game?
Yeah, obviously, looking at the lineup, obviously when the lineup comes up, you think that's pretty. I mean, disregarding Emil Kraft, obviously hadn't had the Premier League match fitness sort of thing. But apart from that, looking at that team sheet, it's like that's a strong lineup. We should at least come away with a point after our away performance this season hasn't been the best. So I was expecting at least a point. But when we come out, it was just seemed so disjointed. Obviously, we're very lucky with Jared Bowen's near miss, which led to our first goal. But even in the lead, we're very sluggish, you know. We just weren't up for it at all, like I say.
Absolutely, yeah.
That triple substitution at half time as well. I don't know. Like I said, obviously people that follow Facebook, obviously I do my post-match reviews. I don't know whether it was with injuries or it's a tactical thing, but that's very, very unlike Eddie Howe to make a triple substitution at half time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I think we did rotate during the week when we faced Spurs, and we actually played pretty well against them. So that was encouraging for me to see a strong lineup yet again this time around. As you touched on, Emil Kraft was a bit of a surprise, but Kieran Trippier does seem to struggle with injuries, which is another fullback out for us. That isn't ideal at all. But apart from that, this is a team that absolutely should have won against West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that got me as well is how many players he put into right back throughout the game. I think there was 5 changes at right back.
Yeah, and I think,
like I say, that's very unlike Eddie Howe to do that sort of thing. So I don't know what, whether he was just having an off day with his management, or I just don't know. Because you would go 3 at the back if you were struggling with your defence. You would go 3 at the back and bolster that midfield up, you know.
Yeah.
But playing Sandro Tonali at right back, it's just like what you're doing.
Yeah, it was really strange.
Yeah.
I suggest we have a look or have a listen actually at what Kyle's halftime thoughts were at this moment in time.
So it's half time at the West Ham Stadium, at the London Stadium, should I say, and Newcastle 2-1 down, and it's been the worst half so far this season. We've been shocking, absolutely shocking. We started the first 5-10 minutes well. We got an early lead, which usually translates to doing well away from home when we get an early goal. It's been anything but. We've been absolutely shocking. Insanely bad. Every time we go forward, Gordon loses the ball. Absolutely shocking. I mean, you can do it on when the bright lights are there, the Champions League. Can't do it anywhere else. It's not good enough consistency wise. Like, it's all right. It's all right doing it in the Champions League, but if you don't do it in the league, you're not gonna have Champions League again next season. He needs to book his ideas up in the league, as far as I'm concerned. I get Barnes on. In terms of the goal, Murphy scores a very good goal, but his delivery since then has been absolutely terrible. We've had a couple of set pieces. These have conceded 9 set pieces this season already. We haven't even looked like a threat on a set piece at all, even though we've got all these tall players and everything. Shocking. Midfield, non-existent. I mean, they've got Mateus Fernandes, Frankie Potts and Paqueta, and they're showing more than Joe Linton, Bruno. It's not been good enough. Tonali's trying to get forward, but poor. I mean, Botman scores the own goal just before half time. A bit unlucky from him, but for their first goal, nobody's around Nick Pope. He punches it out. And this is what I mean with Nick Pope. He's done it a couple of times this season where he'll do a couple of really good things, like he'll make a couple of good saves or anything, and then the goal he concedes is just fucking ridiculous. Like, a Premier League goalkeeper should save that. And a Premier League goalkeeper should take a cross when he doesn't need to punch it. But no one's around him. A keeper should take that and it'll be fine. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking poor all across the board from Newcastle. We'll go 1-0 up against a team who can't win at home. We've won at West Ham more recently than West Ham have. They can't fucking win at home, yet we're just gifting them their first win since March at home. This is a West Ham team that are in free fall. They've been beat off Wolves this season. There's constant talk that they're going to get relegated. They've been played off the park numerous times this season, and yet we're making them look like a fucking European contender. And they're fucking shit, and we're just giving it to them. It's a really bad first half from Newcastle, up there with the worst under Eddie Howe. And it needs to be better, because these are games that we need to go into and we need to fucking win if we want to be anywhere near European football and Champions League again next season. For the privilege of watching Anthony Gordon actually fucking play well for once, like, you've got to get to the Champions League, or you got to get to the Europa League, and if they're our goals this season, we are going to be nowhere fucking near them playing like that. Because if you asked a neutral who's never watched football, who's the team in the bottom 3 today, watching that first half, you'd think us. Poor, and it needs to be better. Second half coming up, big half needed from a lot of players in that team. But if I was Eddie Howe, I'd make changes, because there's a couple of players in that team that are just not playing well at all. And West Ham, a very poor West Ham side, may I add, is undoing winning this match. Big half ahead.
Because, as he said, that first half was already pretty abysmal from us. We did get in front pretty early on in the 4th minute. With a pretty nice goal, actually, from Jacob Murphy, who is finding some scoring form.
Yeah.
But
ever since the takeover, the likes of him and Joe Linton have just obviously grown a lot of confidence, you know. Like I say, Jacob Murphy would never have been on my first team, like first 11 pre-takeover, but now he's one of the first on your lineup, isn't he, at the minute?
Absolutely, yeah. And he's keeping new signing Anthony Elanga on the bench. Absolutely.
That's it, yeah.
Merited.
But then I think Anthony Elanga's kept himself on the bench, to be fair, because when he's getting his chance to prove himself, like in the Cups and the Champions League, he's not doing it. Like when we were first into it, I was very excited with that signing. When obviously I was in Benidorm with my friends when it came on Sky Sports that was signing them, and we all jumped up and had a party, you know, because obviously Anthony Elanga, can't be grateful with the season, but he just hasn't shown up.
Absolutely, yeah. I think
go on, sorry, Ian.
No, I think it's especially his final ball, which has been very much lacking for us. He can't seem to get really dangerous crosses into the area, which is unfortunate for a winger. And especially when you have someone like Jacob Murphy, who is an absolute natural at finding the striker. The contrast is really showing at this moment in time.
Yeah, and the thing is, Anthony Alanga, you can't give the excuse that we give Nick Voltermade because he's played the Premier League with Forest previously, so he knows the pace of the Premier League and he knows the physicality sort of thing. So to be honest, he hasn't got no excuses. The only thing I can think of is Anthony Gordon was the same for when he first signed. Is he just trying to adjust in the Eddie Howe's system?
Probably, yeah. It is still early on. I do think we need to give him some time to grow into playing for Newcastle. But one criticism I heard over the summer when we signed him, which is kind of proving to be true, is that Anthony Elanga is pretty much a profile which perfectly suits Newcastle United, which can be a good thing, but it also means he doesn't necessarily offer us something which we didn't already have, and I think that's
nothing different sort of thing. He's come with the same sort of skills that we already have, sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But me personally, I feel Eddie Howe's system is just starting to, like, the managers are starting to figure it out. Of how to play against us. Like the Erling Haaland, his first season for Man City, he was just absolutely on fire. But last season and start of this season, players are knowing how to play against him, which is why he's become sort of average, in my opinion.
I mean, Haaland this season has been again on some insane goal scoring form. Yesterday against Bournemouth.
But I feel as though obviously the players know how to play against him. They just sort of sit back. But now I think he's adjusted his game. To differentiate how he's been playing last season. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what we need as well. Because
exactly, I think you're hitting the nail on the head here.
Yeah, like Eddie Howe, he's never changed his system. He likes to get the balls into the wingers. Wingers dribble as far into the box as they can and play it across the box. Whereas I feel sometimes we just need to hit the ball. Look, like last season with Alexander Isak. With his goal against Liverpool, he just hit it and it went in. Sandro Tonali's had a couple of shots from outside the box and they've troubled the keeper. I just think we need to hit the ball more often. I'm not saying sort of like abandon Eddie Howe's game plan, but just try and mix it up, like, so that the opposition don't know, are we going to play it in behind or we're going to shoot. So obviously we're playing it behind, so the defenders are just sitting back now, sort of thing, and expect we hit them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with parts of what you're saying. We absolutely do need to have different game plans, because what we saw yesterday was exactly a team figuring out how to play against Newcastle and us just not having any sort of answer for that. But
absolutely.
Very soon on our YouTube channel, a video is coming out in which I touch upon the future of our midfield. And actually, that video was recorded right before the West Ham game, but it turned out to be more relevant than ever. Because one of the things I touch upon is we lack creative presence in the midfield. When a team sits deep against us, we struggle to create big goal-scoring opportunities, especially for our forwards. Because Voltemade against West Ham only played one half. But in that first half, I think he had about 12 or 13 touches, but none of them were in the box. All of them were linking up play, which is fine, but we also have to reach him in the box. So if we could add a midfielder into the mix who could dictate the tempo, who could create from deep, someone like, for example, this is a little spoiler, who, I mean, he wasn't the player I ended up going with, but an Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace, for example, I think could be perfect for that role. Just someone who can calm us down a little, because I do also think that's a problem. Every single player of us can run for 90 minutes straight, which is great, but sometimes you need to calm down the game.
Yeah, I feel like we do have a very few hot-headed players. Like the Joe Linton and Bruno, I feel so just very hot-headed. Touching on Nick Voltemade again, I know obviously many opponents have said this, he's not the number 9. I feel he's more of a central attacking midfielder. He's going to be that sort of player that links the midfield to the forward. Like say Nick Pope kicking the goal kick, having, well, if he ever comes back, Johan Wissa playing as our number 9 for Voltemade to knock on them balls, to chase. But I don't think he's a prolific striker. I've had this conversation with many people, and many people disagree. But he's not a prolific goal scorer. He's not, in my opinion, he's not a complete forward. Like Joe Linton, when we first signed Joe Linton, he wasn't a complete forward, getting played the centre forward position. Dropping back in the midfield and look at him, look how he's progressed now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think what Valdemar is doing is playing a midfield and a centre forward role at the same time, which is why he hasn't hit the ground. Well, he has hit the ground running, but he's not. He's not sort of like consistent. If you know what I mean.
We're not reaching him in the most dangerous areas.
Yeah. And like I touched on earlier, we're playing the balls across the box. That's no good for a 6'7" striker. You need to be putting it in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like most of his goals have been headers. And we just need to be hitting them in the air. We've got the height. We've got the likes of Joe Linton to get into the box. We've got Dan Burn when he plays full back to get into the box.
Absolutely.
So why aren't we getting that ball into the air?
Yeah, I think that's something I didn't understand against West Ham as well. We now know we don't have that creativity in the middle.
Yeah.
So that is a solution which we've seen the likes of Manchester United do, for example, this season.
Yeah.
Just bypass that midfield with a long ball, have someone like Benjamin Sesko for them, or Voltemade or Joelinton or Byrne, who was moving up quite far as well. Bring that down for a fast attacker to run onto, be that a Gordon, Barnes, Wissa. I think that could be a really effective way of attacking for us as well. But something does need to change, because after we went up 1-0 against West Ham, we just started absorbing pressure, like we were defending a 1-0 lead against Arsenal in the 85th minute, but we were defending against West Ham in the 6th minute. So that was almost embarrassing to witness, really.
Yeah.
And we've given West Ham every opportunity to get back into the game with, I mean, the penalty shout that turned out to be a great tackle from Thiaw, because he just about gets a toe on the ball, but that could just as easily be a penalty. West Ham looked like scoring way before they did manage to score. Pope had a pretty good game, although he did look shaky for Paqueta's goal.
Yeah.
And then Botman's own goal is a bit comical, but it's also Wan-Bissaka can't have that all that space on the right hand side. That simply cannot happen. What were your thoughts on the second half? We did replace Gordon.
The second half was just basically the same as the first half. You know, like obviously me myself, like I touched on earlier, I was very surprised with the triple substitution. But we started the second half like we did the first. It's very sort of lackadaisy, and just for the full 90 minutes, just looked very disjointed, and a bunch of 11 strangers just playing on the pitch. And like, I don't know, like I've always been a fan of Will Osuna when he's come on, but even him himself didn't provide much in the second half. Obviously, like I say, it's a team game sort of thing, but I just don't know. I don't know what happened yesterday. Like I say, we've not been the best away from home this season, so I wasn't expecting to win. But we just didn't go out fighting.
Yeah, again, with William Osula, this is what we've been saying throughout the podcast.
Yeah,
we have too many players who offer us the same thing. Osula is great to bring on in a situation like against Fulham, where we're not the only team who are looking for a goal.
Yeah,
Fulham were looking to win that game themselves, so they were committing some men forward, which means there is space to run into. And when there's space to run into, having someone who brings the energy that Will Osula does is fantastic to have. But when a team is sitting deep like West Ham were yesterday against us, because they were already defending a lead, I think Osula is too erratic to really have an impact in those situations.
Yeah. It's like I say, it's just teams figuring us out now. So when they go into the leads, they're just going to sit back because they know how we play. Just trying to play in behind. So all they need to do is just put 4 men on the edge of the box in the defensive midfield, and we're knackered. We are absolutely knackered. We just need to change the system somehow. But Eddie Howe was quite stubborn that way and not change it. We always played the same formation, the same style for 3 or 4 years that we've had him.
We've not necessarily had to change the lineup a lot, because I mean Eddie Howe has achieved massive things, but there does come a certain point where teams do figure out, because we even see the best teams, like for example City's Guardiola, change their style of play season upon season, because teams just do start to figure them out. But also physicality only takes you so far. At a certain point, you have to start dominating games. And to dominate games, that often means 60 to 65% possession. But as we saw in the first 20 minutes of the second half against West Ham, we don't know what to do when we have the lion's share of possession. We don't know what to do with that ball.
Yeah.
Are there any positives you would like to point out from this game?
Positives. Kind of thing. Obviously, like Voltamada just was like you say, silky touches and trying to build up that play, but nobody in behind. Jacob, like the only positive from Jacob Murphy for me was obviously like his clinical finishing.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good goal from Murphy, but I also must admit the 2 or 3 times he got on the ball near the penalty area, he just erratically shot way over the bar as well, which frustrated me a lot. There just didn't seem to be any inspired ideas about how we were going to fix what was happening against West Ham. And West Ham felt it. They were not urgently looking for a third goal. They were not defending to save their lives. They were just muddling through.
It's just sheer counter attack. Just sheer counter attack. We had three out of 4 defenders in their box, and they're just sheer counter attack.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't blame them for trying to get that equaliser, but we need more than one sitting back if 3 of the defenders are going up. We need at least 2 at the midfielder sitting back. But like I said, I can't think of many positives. It was just a very, very disappointing and embarrassing day.
Yeah, especially with the third goal, I also felt the likes of Nick Pope, for example, just didn't care anymore. The third goal, from the moment it goes through Pope's legs, I think he's already decided I've either got time to get to it or no one's pushing me. So he's not focused anymore at that point.
No, absolutely not. No, which is wrong. I mean,
absolutely.
You get beat 2-1, you're going to get beat. But still at least defend for your club, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But like on the bench, like if people are going, we need change the lineup sort of thing, give people breathe and everything. On the bench, we had a very strong bench. We had the likes of Shaw, so why don't you give Botman a break from his head injury? I
do think Eddie Howe, he's trying to rotate more this season than he's done in previous seasons. He's had more options to rotate this season.
He's got a very strong squad.
Absolutely. It is something he's got to grow in now.
Yeah, it's like he's got no excuses. Like he either needs to put his ideas up or
I do also think it's a positive that Lewis Hall was back on the bench. He didn't yet feature, but getting him into the team.
Yeah, it was good to see. Yeah, it was good to see. Obviously, some injured players return. Well, one of the injured players returning. But from our signings, like Jacob Ramsey, I don't think is providing anything for it either. Personally,
I think with Jacob Ramsey, it is still early days, even earlier than with Elanga, because he has had a little injury.
He's had an injury, but then again,
yesterday was actually the first game where I really thought he came onto the pitch and didn't have an impact at all, because in his previous substitute appearances, I mean, he's not chipped in with any goal involvements, but he has had some bright moments, in my opinion. But yesterday, I think the only Newcastle United player who can kind of leave West Ham's ground with his, I mean, he's not going to keep his head held high, but he didn't play the worst game of his life, in my opinion. That was Malik Thiaw, because he had to play right back, he had to play center back, he kept on getting stuck in every single time. I think he was the only one who was trying to fight for the badge.
Yeah, like he's been consistent since coming to the starting lineup. Very consistent. Great tackle from Gerald Bourne, which was called as a penalty. Which I will say, I actually applauded the ref for giving the penalty a fair shout rather than waiting for VAR to. He actually went on his own initiative, which I do like to see from a referee. He wasn't scared to give that from his perspective. Obviously, it got overturned because it wasn't a foul. But it's good to see like the officials standing the ground and actually giving their decision of how they see it rather than waiting for VAR. Because me personally, I'm not a fan of VAR.
Me neither.
I feel it's I'm going on different tangents here, but it's just typically it's just ruined the game. Like, I think that's on videos. You can't even celebrate a goal anymore.
Yeah, it is. It is
You
tough.
can't
Yeah.
celebrate a goal because you're waiting, and then obviously when you watch it on the telly, you've got to wait until the replay is finished and it's kicked off. Like, oh yes, we've scored. Like, whereas back in the day,
Yeah.
you're either offside or you're not. You're not
Exactly.
waiting. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I do.
Like,
I do quite enjoy it as well when it's a League Cup game and there's no VAR. So
yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, it
As for
benefited were against Tottenham, I suppose, with the Joelin incident. I think
I
he should have
mean,
been sent off, but
he probably should have been. Yeah.
yeah,
The last thing I would like to touch upon from the West Ham game is the performance of a certain number 9 who did actually have a good game despite not being involved in a goal. It was Callum Wilson. I think
Yeah.
he looked really good, and
yeah,
I also loved that we sang the Wilson song when he came off the pitch. I mean, we
Yeah.
gave him more of an applause than the West Ham fans did, which
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Obviously, when people go on their own initiative and go on good terms, go on, son. Go and
absolutely,
enjoy
yeah,
it. Let's
no
say
bad blood at
because
all.
he wasn't getting the minutes for us. Well, last season, obviously, we had Alexander Isak, and
Mhm.
nobody was going to start over him. But he was consistent and a brilliant goal scorer for us. Just wish
Absolutely.
we had extended that 1 year contract, to be fair. Because I've always been a fan of Wilson. Met him on several occasions
Yeah.
at the training ground when I've been for my knee injections and everything. And he's an absolutely lovely guy, you
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what a
Such a
shame to
shame
see him
about.
go.
Yeah.
It's got the same. Obviously, getting minutes at a new club now. Obviously, I might be wrong. I think he scored 1 goal so far for West Ham.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's good to see him like batting the pitch and
Absolutely.
preventing injuries, sort of thing. I do like to see it. He's an old school centre forward. He bullies centre
Absolutely.
halves.
Yeah.
Just
And I
gives
do
back
think
what he gets.
if his body hadn't let him down over the last few years,
Yeah.
he would still be our second striker because
Oh yes, yeah.
if you look at his underlying numbers now, they're obviously not great. But if
Yeah.
you do filter them then towards over 90 minutes, there's actually still top class. He's still such an effective striker.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get the time on the pitch, unfortunately. So you're
And-
absolutely right, and I
Yeah.
was happy to see him on the pitch.
Yeah. In my
again
opinion, he's
yesterday.
very similar to Andy Carroll. For
Yeah,
us.
you're right.
Great number 9, just injuries.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was great to see him back in the pitch and great to see him doing well. So yeah.
All right.
All good health to him.
Before we close off this segment, let's have a listen to what Kyle's thoughts were about yesterday's horrible performance against West Ham.
So, full time at the London Stadium, West Ham 3, Newcastle United 1. And following on from what I said at half time, absolutely terrible. In fact, it felt like it got worse. We didn't get a shot on target under the 89th minute, and it was a Sula heading straight to Ariola's arms. And yeah, just shite. Pure shite. There's too many players in that team that are comfortable with just saying, we've got Champions League, we'll play well on Champions League night. And it'll be alright, we'll play Bilbao on Wednesday, and I'm sure the players that were shit today will be great on Wednesday and all be hunky-dory. But shocking. Absolutely shocking from Newcastle. I think in terms of Eddie Howe performances or performances under the management, that's one of the worst ones. Everything that could go bad today did go bad. It was just spineless. It's just the reaction. It's the worst reaction I've ever seen to Newcastle going 1-0 up in my life. Because we went 1-0 up and then after that we're just disintegrated into a championship team. Or to be fair, I'm insulting championship teams with that, the way they played. Too many players, just absolutely terrible. I mean, the changes made from Eddie Howe were fucking baffling. He brings on a Sula, takes Walter Marder off, who had a good couple of link-up passes in the first half with Murphy, and it allowed Murphy to really press on. And he had a good couple of chances through Walter Marder. Takes Walter Marder off for Sula, and just the wrong type of game for Sula to come into. Jacob Ramsey, the one change I think he did make, which made sense, and he did okay, linking up the midfield and driving forward. But we had how many right backs in the second half? I mean, Murphy played there at one point, Chow played there at one point, Tonali played there at one point. And I love Joe Linton, but I think even pre-Eddie Howe, that was his worst performance in a Newcastle shirt. Genuinely, I think that performance today from Joe Linton was absolutely horrific. He did nothing but give the ball away, arguing with the referee when it's a clear foul, just not in possession at all. I mean, fair enough. The young West Ham lad for his debut, Potts, he came in. He was really good for them, but he kind of taught Joe Linton a lesson today. And you've got a senior player there who's been integral to Newcastle's team for the last couple of years in Joe Linton. And he's absolutely fucking shocking. And he got 90 minutes today. I don't understand how Joe Linton got 90 minutes, but Murphy didn't, Walter Marder didn't. Like, attacking players that helped win that first half and wouldn't end the game with any of them on the field. None. And that baffles me to fuck. I don't know how you can think, oh, Walter Marder and Murphy were two most prominent attackers in terms of getting in behind the West Ham defence and really hurting them and taking them off for players that just didn't have any impact at all. Alanga tried to make a couple of things work towards the end, but I think the only one that came on and made any sort of impact was Jacob Ramsey. And for me, if he's fit, I know he had a little knock to his ankle in the game, but if he's fit, he's got to start for me. I think that's got to be literally a case of now dropping Joe Linton from the team, because he hasn't had a great start of the season anyway, where he hasn't been like his normal self. But that West Ham game, he was absolutely shocking. He was. And like I say, it's the worst performance he's had in a Newcastle shirt by far. Shocking. Bruno didn't do much either. Barnes came on, even though it made sense for him to come on. He played him. Eddie Howe played him in right wing for 20 minutes until Elanga came on, and then he put him left wing, and like trying to integrate Joe Linton into a midfield that had three centre midfielders on. He put Tonali out of position to play Joe Linton in position. And by then, you just fucking take him off. Like, it's just... It doesn't help the case if Eddie's favourites will always reign supreme in the team. Like Nick Pope I mentioned earlier on. Just, like, we've got a better goalkeeper sitting on the bench. We really do. And, like... It's always a theme with Nick Pope. He'll make a couple of saves and then he'll make an absolute clanger. And like, if Newcastle want European football, we're kind of be dealing with that type of inconsistency from anybody, let alone the goalkeeper. Like, I think if Ramsdale plays today, there's 2 goals that are avoided there. I think the punch out doesn't happen because he catches it, and then you've got the goal in the last seconds of the game, where it goes through his legs, and it goes behind him, and then it's basically a tackle from Souček into the goal, and it's just like, it's fucking shit. It is. It's really poor from a goalkeeper that I expect a lot more from, but like, it's a theme. It is. It's a theme. It happened against Arsenal as well, where he makes top saves and proves that he is a really good shot stopper. And then he makes a fucking goal scoring mistake for the other team. And that West Ham team, they haven't before today, we'd won at the West Ham Stadium more recently than they had, and we haven't played there since fucking March, since before the cup final. Just absolutely abysmal. And like, Newcastle, I'm meant to say, like, with the depth of players that we've got and the quality that we've got, that's unacceptable. It really is. Like, Newcastle should not be conceding free and losing comfortably. And the worst thing is, they had a Potts goal ruled out. They had a penalty overturned, rightfully so, by the way. That could have been and should have been worse. Now, honestly, if we're up against a good team today, I think we would have got beat by 5 or 6. Were that bad. It really, really bad. And a couple of individuals that just aren't cutting the mustard. But it's okay though, they'll be great on Wednesday. Like Anthony Gordon, I'm sure he'll turn up on Wednesday and he'll be great. Doesn't matter though when the league's your bread and butter and you're playing like that. Just absolutely shocking from Newcastle. And yeah, I mean, you can say I'm quite harsh, but like I to be honest, I really couldn't care less. I think the way Newcastle conducted themselves today was nothing short of an absolute disgrace. And it has to be better. Newcastle haven't won away from home since Leicester City away. They're no longer in the Premier League. In fact, they got beat up Blackburn Rovers away. At home yesterday. That's the last team we beat in the league away from home. If we can't beat West Ham, who have won their first home game in 9 months, if we can't beat them away from home, who can we beat?
And now I suggest we move a little bit back to the game, which was in midweek against Tottenham, where we defended the Carabao Cup, and we are through to the next round. That was actually, it's really strange because you feel a negative vibe starting to record this podcast due to yesterday's performance, and that's absolutely justified because yesterday's performance was horrifying.
Abysmal, yeah.
But against Tottenham, we didn't get out of second gear, in my opinion, and it wasn't necessary either.
We were very comfortable. We just come out, done my stuff, put Tottenham away, and that was it, you know.
Yeah. If we have a look at the starting 11 for that game, I think the big changes towards yesterday's game, Ramsey and Willock in midfield were substituted out, Barnes and Elanga on the wings. And Cher got a game instead of Botman, where he was absolutely fantastic and scored as well. So another reason maybe why Eddie Howe should have started him in the first place this weekend. But what did you think about the starting 11, about us rotating so much?
Yeah. So obviously, if you looked at the teams that were playing on that night, I think we were the only team that had one of the strongest lineups out, to be fair. Because we do need to just challenge it, we need to go for it. Because, in my opinion, we're not going to win the league, we're not going to win the Champions League. FA Cup, I don't know. We'll need to see how we go with that. But we really need to defend this cup and just go for it again.
Absolutely.
We've got nothing to lose. Like I say, we're not going to win the league, we're not going to win the Champions League. Just go for the Carabao Cup. Why not? It was a strong lineup. Like I say, we just come out fighting. And just, like I say, we've done the job. There was a couple of incidences, obviously one leading to the first goal, which is absolutely ridiculous with what Tottenham fans were saying. It's like,
I mean,
yeah.
For the first goal, that was a pretty great. It was a set piece, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes, it was a corner.
Cher's header from a corner. It's great to see us scoring from set pieces because that's something Eddie Howe clearly has wanted us to work on over the summer.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen our set piece coach sit into the touchline on a set piece yet. Like most do. Am I right in saying we did appoint a set piece coach?
We did. Yeah, we did appoint one from Midtjylland in Denmark.
Yeah, it always seems to be Jason Tyndall on the touchline for set pieces, which I don't get. I don't get it. Our set piece coach should be on there, and
probably.
Don't know.
That is a strange one. You're right.
Yeah, but leading to the goal, it was ridiculous. Taking, I think it was 50 seconds to tie your bootlace and put your boot on, tie your lace.
Yeah.
Should we have let him get back in the position or should we not? It's 50-50. If it was the other way around, what would we be saying? Would we be saying, wait, we should be, you know what I mean?
I mean, I've got to be honest, the rules are the rules, and if you take that long, just ask someone for help.
You're in your 20s, you know how to tie your...
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But getting back in position, if the referee's blew the whistle, take the corner. But taking all away from that was a crack in the header by Fabian Schär. Like, just doing what he does. Up in the air, great header, free header.
And exactly the same can be said about Big Nick Voltemade, who scored his...
Just trademark, wasn't it?
Exactly, he scored his third header for us already, and now his sixth goal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
One in the
you might be right,
Champions League, one penalty, one flick against Brighton, and 3 headers. So 6 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
6 and 8, or 6 and 9, or something like that. Yes,
That's
yeah.
pretty. That makes for some pretty great reading for a striker.
Yeah, it
And
does. Yes, yeah.
I do, however, agree with you that he's probably not the clinical number 9 that a lot of
No,
people now think he is, and
yeah,
he is more adept to facilitating the play. So having some players run in behind of him, like Gordon, Wissa,
yeah,
could really benefit us. But for the time being, we just need to get that ball in the box because, like we see against this Tottenham side, Tottenham weren't bad and they had some chances. Ramsdale
yeah.
made a couple of great saves as well.
Yeah, brilliant game in my opinion. My man, the match, anyways.
Mhm.
Like he's always been a brilliant keeper. Obviously, he's had his England call ups. I don't think he's got called up this time, has he? I might be wrong.
No,
No,
he's not.
no. But I think he should be ahead of um, Dean Henderson. Yeah, he's having a good season, but I've always rated Aaron Ramsdale from Arsenal to
Mhm.
just. I think it's going on from last season, but he was in a team where you couldn't prevent relegation from Southampton.
Mhm. Exactly, yeah.
But yeah,
A bit of a
back
strange
to the
career
game.
decision from him as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, but obviously he's wanting to get back to the Premier League. That's why he prefers to play. I do hope we trigger that permanent transfer deal
Mhm.
because I might, even 27, 28, is he?
Yeah, it's something like that. I think he is
Yeah,
27. Let's have a look.
yeah.
Yeah, 27 years old.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
it'd be like so obviously Nick Pope's got that 1 year extension. So what I would like to see next season is him to take number 1 shirt and
Mhm.
Nick Pope to coach him through his last. Obviously, Nick Pope become number 2 and coach him through to get him ready to become the main number 1.
Yeah,
Because that's if, like I say, that's if he triggers our permanent transfer deal. Because if he does, we've got him for at least another 6 or 7 years, and
absolutely.
yeah, I believe he'll flourish. He will flourish in our team. Obviously, with defenders, and yeah, I think he will absolutely flourish.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
Ramsdale situation is an interesting one because Nick
yeah,
Pope has been one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League at the start of this season. He's been
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
And with the England situation, for example, which you touched upon, I do think it is an interesting one for the World Cup because, on the one hand,
yeah.
you do have Jordan Pickford, who will be the starting 11
Oh
goalkeeper.
yes, 100%.
And
Yes,
in my
yeah,
opinion, I do think Dean Henderson should get that second choice because I think he's been
yeah,
pretty great for Crystal Palace.
yeah,
But that third goalkeeper option normally
yeah.
should have been James Trafford, but he's now shot himself in the foot by going to
Yeah,
Manchester
he has.
City.
Yes, yeah.
So that's
He should have
absolutely
come
up
to
for
us. Yeah,
grabs.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I do think whoever ends up being the first choice goalkeeper for us come the end of the season
yeah.
is probably the one who goes with England as the third option.
It's
So
got to
there
be. It's
is
got to be. It's got to be.
absolutely. So there is
Yeah,
very much a world in which Ramsdale can go. There is also a
yeah,
world in which Nick Pope can go.
yeah,
But Ramsdale was absolutely fantastic against Tottenham, like you touched upon, made some incredible saves. And
yeah,
it's interesting because a lot of people normally talk about Ramsdale's character, and he is a great character to
yeah,
have in the dressing room. I'm not
yeah,
dismissing
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but he's a pretty good goalkeeper as well. And I
Yeah, oh,
don't
it's
think
brilliant.
that
Yeah,
gets talked about enough.
yeah. He's very agile. He always puts his heart in the line for whatever club he plays for. Um, yeah, he's just fairly solid.
Absolutely.
More solid than any of the other keepers, I believe.
Hmm.
So yeah, I hope he does flourish this season. I hope he decides to stick with us.
Yeah.
But overall, from the Tottenham game, I couldn't see one bad word against it. We were just constantly high intense. It
Hmm.
kept on going and kept on going. To the final whistle,
Absolutely.
which was very good to see. Which is why I was very confused about yesterday, sort of thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's also in the draw as well. It's good to get a home draw
Yeah.
against Fulham. It gives you a very good chance to get to the semi-finals. Yes, if we
Yeah.
beat Fulham, we'll go to the semi-finals. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um,
Before we touch upon that, I suggest we have a listen to what uh, Kyle and by extension Paul, because they went to the game together, had to
yeah.
say about the first half.
So, half time at St James's Park, Newcastle United 1, Tottenham 0. And it's been, we've got the lead from Fabian Schär from a corner set piece. But yeah, 1-0 Newcastle at half time. And yeah, barring the goal, really, I think Newcastle have had a couple of that. They hit the ball through Barnes and yeah, a couple of, but other than that, it's been really lacklustre, hasn't it?
It has. Apart from the Spurs players dropping down like prostitutes' pants, they really need to learn. All them years, to become a professional footballer. And what have you got to show for it? The fact that you can be literally breathed on and you drop to the floor. It's quite embarrassing, really. I hope they actually come out in the second half and try and have a go at us on them, and hopefully we can counter-attack them and get the all-important crucial second goal.
Well, that's it, I think. He's in reference to Richarlison, by the way, if you're listening to this back. Every time he's breathed on or touched, he goes down. Pathetic, really, from a bit of a cunt of a footballer. Watch him score now, typical. But yeah, it's been a weird half from Newcastle, I think. Tottenham haven't really showed anything of note, but it's a big 10 minutes, I'd say, first 10 minutes of the second half. Need to get into a bit of a rhythm. We seem to be a bit weird when they're in possession. They've gotten behind one midfield a couple of times, and not really much shown from one midfield, to be honest.
No, especially Joe Willock. Joe Willock needs a massive performance. He's given the opportunity, given the platform, and yet again flattered to deceive. But yeah, midfield's definitely an area we need to toughen up in.
Yeah, it's quite poor. They were just playing it out at half time there. Doesn't matter. They're doing that on purpose to fuck with us, Ian, I swear. But no, it's been one of them halves. It has. It's kind of in the balance. I think Newcastle need to go on and get a second for sure, because Tottenham do look threatening in spaces and getting behind one midfield. As Paul said before, Joe Willock isn't playing particularly well in midfield, nor is Jacob Ramsey. So I think for me, it's just a case of trying to consolidate a little bit and try and get that second goal. I'd like to see a bit more from Malanga as well. He did play a good ball through to Tonali in the first half and has had a couple of moments, but there's one moment that's quite telling for me, that he's tracking back and Tonali overtakes him. Alanga's meant to be the quickest player on the team, but he's getting overtaken by Tonali, and it's just that will to get back, and he needs to show more of that, I think. Especially given where he came from, Forest, who Nuno were really defensively sound and worked for each other last season. So shocked to see that. Now, I hope I don't see it again. But big half ahead. Hopefully we can get into the quarter-final. I cut it out because I was seeing the half-time scores, and apparently Liverpool are 2-0 down at half-time. My sympathies are yeah, very much Arne Slot could be out the door. So that's hilarious. So just shows for a certain Swede that the grass isn't always greener.
All right, so we were talking about the Tottenham result, in which we knocked Tottenham out of the cup, out of the round of 16.
Yeah.
And we are now defending a cup, which is a really weird feeling to have.
It is, yes, yeah. I think the first feeling I think anybody's felt in years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, even my dad, he's 53, so he's never known Newcastle to win a cup,
That's incredible.
It's funny, I was actually speaking to my grandmother that day about it, and she was actually at the first cup, the first cup final when Bobby Moncur lifted that trophy. Her and my granddad were at that game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's so great.
That's a bit of history for you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's just weird that we're defending silverware, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And we're defending it well, because at the end of the day, Tottenham is no pushover. It normally is a really interesting game. But we were pretty comfortable throughout the 90 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, very comfortable. Yeah, like you touched on earlier, Ian, we didn't even hit second gear. I don't think we just cruised through it, didn't we? Really.
Absolutely.
But I think that's part of being in St James's Park under the lights on a midweek. Everybody's raring to go. People have come straight from work, had a few pints, straight into the stadium, all riled up. It's that sort of thing. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of playing in St James's Park under the lights once at a late time, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's good that we're actually we've knocked one of the top 6 teams out of the Carabao Cup.
Absolutely.
We've got a good draw for the quarterfinals. I mean, the only snag I think is that two of the big teams could have got each other to sort of cancel one of them out. But it wasn't to be, so we'll just see how it'll go. Obviously, Crystal Palace is no pushover from what we've seen from Liverpool either. They're defending, obviously, the FA Cup this season, so although there's teams like that in it, we've still got to be careful. Can't be too confident of going in. Yeah, we've got the advantage of another home tie, but we can't be too confident and think we're just going to walk over them, so that's never going to happen. Obviously, when you look at when we played Fulham last week, St James's, they were no pushover. So we've just got to keep modest and keep our head level and just get through it, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've touched upon a couple of interesting points there. First of all, the home factor.
Yeah.
I think, as we saw yesterday against West Ham as well, the disparity between our performances at home, or especially our results at home and away, is something which is starting to worry me, because normally I dismiss those stats when they're a small sample size, but it's starting to become a big sample size, and that's not a good place for us to be.
No.
So we do have to really work on that away form. I think our next game is an away game as well in Brentford, so we have to travel back
Sunday,
so we've got to go back to London once again.
Yeah.
But we do have a home game in between against Athletic Bilbao, so that doesn't help us. But we need to start getting some points and some goals on the board.
Yeah, we do. Home. Yeah, we need that consistency in the attacking option, don't we? We need that go-to striker. I don't feel as though we're missing the go-to striker, because we do have a striker, but he hasn't been prolific as of much yet. But like I say, we just need consistency. I feel once we get these goals flowing, we'll be fine. I think we need a 3-0 win, I think. In a Premier League game, and I think after that, our goals will be flowing after that.
Yeah,
it's just a confidence thing, you know.
The thing is, in Holland, there's a theory. It's not that big a deal, but they call it the ketchup bottle theory, where once you start getting something out of it, it all of a sudden opens the floodgates, like you said, and everything comes out.
Yeah.
So maybe that is something with our goals, that, as you say, someone like Gordon, who hasn't scored or assisted in the Premier League for so long, finally needs to get back off the mark. Wissa, who scores his first goal for the club, could all be factors that really push us into scoring more goals. Because before this West Ham game, only Wolves, Nottingham Forest, and West Ham had scored less goals than us, which, I mean, is a really awful stat to have for such a competitive club like we are.
Yeah.
And that does read for worrying statistics. Scoring so little goals, especially when we've scored so many goals over the last couple of seasons, it is worrying.
It is, yes, yeah. My personal opinion with Anthony Gordon is I think he's trying to be careful. He knows it's a World Cup, if he does his ACL or his hamstring, he could be out of like the next international week. And then obviously like a winger could come in and shine, and he gets dropped, you know. So I think he's just trying to play it safe.
Which is not helping anyone.
It's not helping anybody, no, but I think he's just trying to play safe and try and get that World Cup, Once the World Cup's finished, I think we'll see a different Anthony Gordon as with what we've seen last season. Because there was no World Cup there last season, so he had nothing to worry about for the summer, which is why he played out of his skin last season. But this year, I think all the players are trying to play carefully. Because like I say, it's not a Europe it's a World Cup so everybody will be wanting to go to the World Cup. And I think everybody's just trying to play careful, which is not good for anybody.
Yeah. With Gordon, I think he does also get a lot of critics often about that he picks and chooses his games in which he performs, which, I mean, at this moment in time, if you do so well in the Champions League and then not perform in the Premier League, question marks do need to be raised, but that's probably a bit short-sighted to just blame it on that.
But
The
then
thing is,
yeah,
there have
go on,
been
sorry.
games this season in the Premier League where I do think Gordon has brought some energy, some willingness to be our main
Yeah,
attacking force.
yeah,
But it's like you say, he seems to be too careful about it
yeah,
and a bit, yeah, almost holding himself back, which is just an
yeah,
unfortunate place for us to be.
yeah. We need that bit of risk and someone to take that risk of
Mhm.
obviously not getting injured, but just trying something different. Maybe
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like if you get your leg broke, you get your leg broke. You know what I mean? It's fate.
A
in
Saint
my opinion.
Maximin, for example, someone
Yeah,
who
yeah.
makes
He
something
was.
happen out of nothing.
I remember speaking to St. Maximin when he was here a few years ago, and I went, "How do you do them things with the ball?" He went, "I don't even know what I'm going to do myself." So what he said was, "If I don't know what I'm doing, the defenders don't know what I'm going to do."
That's
He said,
exactly
"If I
right.
don't
Yeah.
know," I went, "Yeah, I do get what you mean."
Mm.
I went, but yeah,
Yeah, but we
you
do
start
lack
doing
that
Just
sort of X factor.
people are
Yeah.
trying to overthink what they're going to do. Where when you've got the ball at your feet, you just need to just let your head go and just do what let your feet do the talking, you know. Put
Yeah.
your head down and just go. That's what you need
Exactly.
to do. Like I say, I think everybody's playing too careful. Likes of like Bruno, this season, I don't know what's happened to him. Like I just don't think he's been there. Yeah, he's scored a couple of goals for us. I just don't think he's been to what he was last season for us. I just don't know. If it wasn't for Sandro Tonali, I don't know where we would be with the midfield.
I
to
do
be
think
honest.
you're right in flagging him up as
Yeah.
our best midfielder this season because he has been fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah, he's been the best player week in, week out for us, I feel like.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you would like to touch upon specifically on when it comes to Spurs and the Spurs result?
One thing, it's not necessarily a Spurs, but as I picked on earlier with our players who are hot-headed, I feel as though teams are starting to figure out who they are now and starting to target them.
Yeah.
And putting them crunching tackles in like the way with Joe Linton. Will Asula's another one who's quite hot-headed, I feel. So all teams are just trying to like target them sort of players, you know, which is good on them. It's good man management, you know, from the manager. But yeah, like I say, a solid win, and we'll just cruise past Spurs onto the next round.
Absolutely.
Game, you know.
And that next round is against Fulham.
Yeah.
Is it in St. James's Park or in Craven Cottage?
Yeah, it's at St. James. It's not a home.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that works quite to our advantage. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we, out of every team that is still in the competition, which I mean, Liverpool have been knocked out by Crystal Palace, which is fantastic. Yeah. So Arsenal face Crystal Palace. That should be a fantastic game.
Yes,
and I think Manchester City and Chelsea are the other teams who have the easier draws with Cardiff.
Yeah. So I think all the teams have got easy draws. I don't think that like one of the big teams have got like a challenging game like you see apart from Arsenal Crystal Palace. Yeah. But I think the rest have got pretty much easy draws, you know.
So the semi-finals should be really interesting if we do get there, because as you said before, we do have to still get past Fulham, and we cannot underestimate them.
But if you look on paper, like I say, on paper, you're going to think it's going to be us, Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal.
Yeah, probably.
But when you're looking at it, Cardiff have got the quarterfinals. Yeah, they're away at I think it's Manchester City.
Yeah,
is it?
I think
Manchester
so,
City. Yeah, they've got nothing to lose, Ian. They're a championship side. They've got nothing to lose. With the quarterfinal of Carabao Cup, they're just going to go for it.
Absolutely. I think they're even. I think they're a League One side now.
On the League One, are they to get relegated?
I think so. Yeah.
Bad. Well, they've got nothing to lose. They're the quarterfinal of Carabao Cup. They're just going to go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun game, probably as well. Yeah. And massively fun for the away support.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, it's against Chelsea. Cardiff faced Chelsea. Man City host Brentford.
Brentford, right? Okay, yes, yeah. Well, even Brentford themselves, though, they've got nothing to lose, have they? Really?
Absolutely.
Like I said earlier, they're not going to win the FA Cup. Brentford, they're not going to win the Premier League.
I mean, and for it is for a club like Brentford, it is also a massive opportunity to win their first piece of silver.
I mean, they've got the
ever.
Yeah, they got the quarter-final last season against us that we knocked them out of. So it's the second successive quarter-finals they've got to, so they are pushing.
Absolutely,
So
and they've
why
beaten
not?
Liverpool and Man United in the league, so they can do it.
100%. So why not? Just go for it. There's no point in going to games thinking, "Oh, can I get beat?" Just go for it. You don't know. Because I don't think Pepper's going to pull a full strength squad out. So I say he's challenging for Champions League. He's challenging for Premier League. It's a top six call it. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup.
Absolutely,
but then if they're calling that, well, why are they playing in it?
Yeah, and I also think calling it a Mickey Mouse Cup is just giving yourself an easy out. It's making sure that getting knocked out of another competition doesn't hurt too much. Which I mean, that's what being a football fan is about. So
but I would like to see a couple of surprises. I mean, no surprises to us, hopefully not. But a couple of surprises in the quarterfinals. I would like.
I'd like so too. Yeah. As for Fulham, do you have any predictions for the Fulham game?
I would go for another 2-1.
Another 2-1. All right.
Yeah, a nice easy prediction, a 2-1.
I'm going to say a 3-0 victory against Fulham.
Yeah.
It is, if I'm not mistaken, let's have a look.
I think it's the week after the Sunderland game.
Exactly, the 16th of December. So normally we should already have a couple of more wins and some greater form under our belt. And I do also think Fulham are struggling more than people are realizing at this moment in time. They are quite close to the relegation zone.
But so West Ham, Ian.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in pointing that out. Yeah,
like I say, you look on paper and you think, we'll do that. We'll beat them, but you don't know what's going to happen on the day.
Absolutely.
Like I say, you can't get too confident about a draw like that. You've just got to go, keep your level head, and do what you can.
All right. So maybe one more topic for before we move on to the to a different competition altogether, let's first have a listen to what Kyle had to say about the second half against Spurs.
In full time at St James's Park, Newcastle United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in a much better second half from Newcastle. Me and Paul mentioned at the break that we needed a bit more efficiency from the midfield. I think we're seeing a lot more calmness on the ball from Jacob Ramsey, and straight away Joe Willock had a chance, but I think he still lost in the maze with a header that he had. Just kind of hit him and it went wide, but we got a second goal for Walter Mara, who brilliant header, gets to the ball first ahead of the goalkeeper, but a really good result against a solid team away from home this season. And throughout the quarter-final, I mean, in terms of general performance and stuff, it was quite comfortable given how good Tottenham can be away from home, especially this season. And I think we managed the game really well. Dan Burn at left back was actually really good. He managed Brennan Johnson and Dan Burn. Of course, he managed himself and managed Kudus when he came on as well. But really solid game. I think Sandro Tonali again. How many times do I say this? So probably best player on the field defensively. They couldn't get near him. Bruno and Joe Linton came on later in the game, and it gave her a little bit more energy to help manage the game a bit more. But yeah, in terms of that second half, we really raised the game, and Tottenham didn't really have anything to get back into it really. Carlson huffed and puffed and fell out a bunch of times, but that's about it. They brought on Cullen on, who didn't really do anything of note. The changes that they made were just not good changes at all. It's had no impact, and we managed to see the game out quite comfortably. So 2-0 win. Don't know who we've got in the quarterfinals as of yet, but yeah, good win to see we're through. And seeing the full-time squad on field, I got to be 3-0. Grass isn't always greener. Isak.
So the win in general. And now, as for the last talking point of this podcast, let's have a quick look ahead at this week's fixture against Bilbao in the Champions League. What do you think for that one?
So I don't really know much about Athletic Bilbao. They're a well-known team. I think in the Spanish league, you've got are they normally up there? I think they are.
Normally they are, but this season they have been struggling a bit more for form. They have come into some form recently and have had their first win of the season of the Champions League season that is in last game week against Karabakh. So
well, it's good again that we've got into that home advantage.
Absolutely.
And obviously us Geordies will love the Champions League night. We've never had them for well, before we never had them for 20 years, so we do love the Champions League night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, on paper you look at it and you think, yeah, we should beat them. Like it's got to go into it level-headed, play your football. Hopefully the coaching staff and Eddie Howe's done the research and the philosophy of how they play and their structure and how the match formations, and hopefully we'll not have to get out the second gear and stress too much, because like I say, we've got a difficult game coming up on Sunday away again.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just need to go in, get the job done. And
when it comes to the Bilbao players, real quickly, I think they lack a real clinical, dangerous number 9. So that is a big positive for us. Iñaki Williams, one of the Williams brothers, is also out injured. So that's going to help us.
Yeah.
But they do have some pretty strong physical, both defenders and midfielders. So as we saw against West Ham,
it's pretty much similar to us, isn't it? No out-and-out number 9. Strong midfield, strong defence. So hopefully it'll be a tough game. It'll be a tough game.
It will, yeah. They actually have quite a lot of injuries I'm seeing right now. I already see 6. So
6, yeah.
That should help us.
Yeah, hopefully.
But one player who you might still remember from his time in the Premier League, who has now come back there, is Aymeric Laporte. So we will need to have a look out for him.
Yes, he's played for Man City, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, he was a strong defender, yeah. It's going to be a physical game. We just need to be up for the fight, as we normally are. Bar Sunday, we normally are up for the fight, so we just need to go, get the 3 points, get hopes aboard the Champions League, and
absolutely,
get the job done, you know.
Any score predictions?
I'll go for 3-1.
3-1. All right.
I'll go for 3-1, yes. Yeah.
I will go with 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 on this one. Yeah. All right. Fantastic. So some positive predictions, even though we had a pretty weak performance against West Ham. But like we said, a big reaction is now needed from this squad.
Yes, yeah. We need to bounce back 100%.
Absolutely.
We need to bounce back.
Is there anything more you would like to add to this podcast?
No, just obviously, how are the lads? Let's get the 3 points on Wednesday and crack on with the Champions League season and look ahead to Sunday.
Absolutely.
And get 3 points away for the first time.
Completely agree. Yeah, fantastic shout. Yeah. All right, Marty, I would really like to thank you for taking the time with me on today's podcast.
Yep, thank you for having us, Ian.
And thank you guys for listening. If you did go on to enjoy this episode, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Please check out all of our other social media pages, Magpie247 or Magpie Ultras on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you like to get your football content. And we would like to see you in the next episode. Have a good one.